Let's go and get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Keep It Thorough Thursdays on
Two
Thursday this time,
two times 1 week.
like we
You know what I'm
supposed
saying?
to. Two times 1 week. We hit y'all with an episode on Tuesday because we didn't do an episode last Thursday. And now we back at on regularly scheduled program. You know what I'm saying? So episode 68, we're gonna be talking about the power of intentions, right? Kind of like what that means, how to manifest that, how to improve your quality of life essentially. With that, so with all that said, it's your boy E Double.
What's up, good people? Cedric Lavelle here. And as usual, we appreciate you all for tuning in to Keep It Thorough Thursdays, where we just give you the real behind business, health, money, self-development. Definitely a powerful, powerful episode that we have lined up. Intentions is just one of those things where it can really be a game changer. You know what I'm saying? It can really change the way that you go about day-to-day life, the way that you see things, the way that you process situations, your belief system, all of that, right? So uh, definitely will be insightful, great information that we have lined up. So yeah, bro, let's get to it.
Bet. So first section, right? So doing it on purpose, and I think that that title alone sums up what
Absolutely.
intentions are, right? You're doing it on purpose. You're purposeful. You show intent. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It means you thought about it. It was it's not on accident. You know what I mean? But
absolutely.
so the foundations of intentions, right? So said like what is intentions and why are they important, right?
So
Like
so with intentions, man, it's uh it's a deliberate and conscious choice to focus our thoughts, energy, and actions toward a specific outcome, right? And that in itself, it really kind of details everything that you should know or would want to know when it comes to intentions. It's a deliberate and conscious choice. Like you're doing something knowingly doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's already been processed in your mind that my intentions are to do X, Y, and Z. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to map it out. Right? It
and
forces.
I think it's important too to point out, or at least from my perspective, this is how I kind of look at it. Um, Showing intentions or having intentions are also, not only is the idea but the execution, like having a
Absolutely.
way of how you plan
How you
on
plan? Yeah.
execute. Now you can have intentions and not do it, but you still had a plan, like you just didn't execute it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Um, but I think it's not only having the idea, but also having a way
The
of
action.
accomplishing,
Right.
whatever.
Right. Because in intentions, it's almost like it's a two-part process. You know what I'm saying? First, it starts internally, and then you produce the outcome externally, right? You think about it first, you process it,
Map it
and then
out.
you map it out, right? And then
Yeah.
you put yourself in a position to start taking the necessary actions in order to achieve whatever the goal or the objective was. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you're looking to reach. And so that's really the foundation of intentions, right? You think about it, you process it, you identify what needs to take place in order to get to the said goal that it is that you wanted to achieve, the things that you're looking to move towards, and then from there you start putting the actions in, right? But when you're moving with intent and you're focused on whatever it is that's in front of you, the distractions are limited, right? You're moving on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like you was talking about earlier. Like you're moving on purpose and you're building on purpose. You know what your aim is, but you're intentionally doing those things because you know what the goal is at the end, right? And so three quick things that you want to know about intentions and when it comes to intentions. So our intentions shape our reality. The thoughts and beliefs we hold in our minds can shape our experiences and our outcomes, right? Our intentions help us focus and bring clarity. That's one of the things I was just talking about, the focus and the clarity that your intentions bring. So be specific and focused. Don't be vague and unclear, but intentions, they can yield the best results when you're clear and you're focused on what it is specifically that you're looking to achieve. And then the last thing is this: our intentions give us trust through the process, right? So we have to be confident through the process. And if we know we're moving with good intent and our intentions are good, there's going to be more confidence. You know what I'm saying? As you progress towards whatever it is that you're looking to get to, because you know, like, again, you've mapped it out, you've thought
Yeah.
about it, you've processed everything, you've done process of elimination. You've said, you know, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, but I am going to do this, and I'm do this based off of whatever information that I've received and that I know, and this is how I'm going to proceed about going into whatever it is, and there's so much power in that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the name of this episode is The Power of Intentions, but there's just so much power in purposefully pursuing something because, again, there's confidence there, right? Like it's structured.
And I think that's what separates, well, not the only thing that separates like an idea, right? But actually, you know, you know, creating the foundation of it and actually like bringing it to fruition and making it happen, right? Is that purpose, right? Like,
Yeah,
because being intentional is being purposeful, being intentional, being focused, being clear, in whatever that goal is of whatever it is you're trying to create. Now, there's still that
facts.
piece that you got to go execute. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to do all the things you thought about and you planned on. You know what I mean? But it starts with the intent, right? You got to be purposeful
Yeah,
and mindful and focused
absolutely.
and detailed, right? Which I've talked about this before, said as well about when crafting goals, the importance of being as detailed as possible, right? Because if you say, okay, I'm going to lose, 10 pounds in the next 3 months versus I'm going to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months by having a calorie deficit of, you know, 200 calories, and I'm going to work out 3 times a week, focus on upper body first day, lower body second day, cardio third day. And I'm going to do, you know what I mean? If you're more specific,
Right.
that goal becomes a lot more obtainable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that I think that purpose, that focus, and that clear understanding of very detailed goals, takes you a very, very long way. Very, very
That's
long.
facts, bro. Yeah, you got to take the intentional ideas and transform them into intentional actions. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got to go two ways. You go from the idea to the action, and then you experience the power of
And,
intention.
and, and that's the way you good. That was perfectly said, man. Because showing the intentions with the intent or the goals, being intentional with the goals, and like you said, being intentional with the actions, right? Like, so no, that married that together well. So cool. So I guess moving on to the next section, right? Maximizing the outcomes. We're all about being tangible. You know what I mean? Like
All the
typically, the
time,
second
man.
slide all the time is about how do I apply this? Like, what, you know what I mean? What does me being intentional look like, right? Like, what areas of my life can I be intentional? You know what I mean? So, I'm gonna give 5 ways that being intentional can lead to results, right? So, the first is being intentional with your goal setting, and we already kind of touched on this, right? Be very intentional and purposeful and detailed when it comes to your goals that you set and the desired outcome of that goal, right? So what does the end result look like,
Yeah.
right? So like in the example I just gave, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months, right? I can document that, right? Like, okay, let me write my goal, let me write down my weight now. And in 3 months, I can weigh myself again and see if I hit that goal. You know what I mean? Like, so be very detailed and intentional when you're setting goals, right? So it's as simple as that, really. Just be extremely detailed as you can be. In some instances and situations, you may not have all of the knowledge of a particular area, that you may be trying to pursue something in. So you may be limited on knowledge, but just be as detailed as you can be currently, And
Yeah.
as you go down that journey, you can, add
Acquire
to
more
that
knowledge.
list of goals and, craft a more detailed version. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But be like I said, be as purposeful, as clear, and as detailed as possible when goal setting, right? And that'll lead to great results. Next on the list is time management. Be very intentional with your time management. You know what I mean? We stress the importance of having uh, um, a planner, right, or a calendar or schedule of some sort to hold yourself accountable. And you want to know it's wild, bro? I just seen something about Rob Deerdeck. I think it's how you say his name.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
the dude,
Yeah.
Rob and Big, and
Right. Yeah.
so and I can't remember all the specifics, but it was something like over the last like 5 to 6 years, he literally documented how he spent every moment of his day. And he realized like he basically was trying different things and crafted a formula, right? That worked best for him,
Yeah.
right? Like doing yoga, waking up at this time, like going to bed at this time, waking up at this time, doing yoga, meditating, doing this, and focusing on work from this time, cut off, spend time with the fam. You know what I mean? Like he literally had for like 5 years to the point where like the dude had analytics of like he spent this much time doing this. He
Yeah.
spent this much time doing this to find areas where he's slacking to
Yeah. Yeah.
improve. You know what I mean? So it's wild, but it just goes to show you the think about the best way to think about it is if you want to be productive, right? Think about large corporations and how they function, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
they're all about being productive. They want to get the most for the least amount. You know what I mean? They want to
Yeah.
be not efficient and productive.
Yeah.
Efficiently productive.
Officially
That's
productive.
probably
Yeah.
the best way to
Yeah.
say it, right? So what do? They have plans. There's schedules. There's deadlines. There's timetable. You know what I mean? Like you got to hold yourself accountable. There has to be a very high level of accountability, and the only way to achieve that is by knowing what you're doing with your time. That
Yeah.
your time is your most valuable asset, right?
Every
So
day.
be very, very intentional with how you spend that time and your time management. And I guarantee you'll see results. And that's not something that takes a very long time. If you create a schedule, now and you follow it for a week, you're gonna see results. You know what I'm saying? 100%. It's not even questionable. So
Okay.
next on the list is building healthy habits, right? So being intentional with building healthy habits. We hear people all the time talk about how they want to work out, how they want to lose weight, how they want to get in shape, how they want to live longer. They talk about their, medical issues and their family and, so on and so forth and all these different things. Like you got to be intentional, right?
Right.
You really got to do something about it, right? Like go get a checkup. Start with going getting a checkup, making sure you're in good health. I'm of the belief it's better to catch something early than to ignore it and let it
Yeah.
become a problem, right? So go to the doctor, get a gym membership. I know cost sometimes is of concern. There's some very affordable gyms out there. I think like $12 a day or $15 a month, $12 a month, stuff like that. So or at your apartment complex. If you live at an apartment complex and they got a gym, or if you live in a community where they have a fitness center or whatever, whatever the case may be. You know
Or
what I
even
mean?
even getting online and finding trainers that have
Right.
like in-home workouts. You know
Exactly.
what I'm
YouTube
saying?
videos
Like
at home. You can craft your own workout. You go to Chat GPT and craft your own at home workout. But
absolutely.
just be
It's
intentional.
and if you
Like
want it, you're gonna figure it out. That's
exactly.
like the
And
bottom line to it.
and that's
You know
what
what I'm
being
saying?
intentional is. That's what
No
having
matter
intent.
no matter what it takes, you're gonna figure it out.
Yeah,
I gotta go buy me some resistance bands and some kettlebells from the store and do something at home. Okay, that's what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
You're
No,
gonna
no,
figure it
a
out.
1000%, bro. And you hit the nail right on the head, man. You can do a bunch of stuff at home. You don't need you don't need a gym, right? And you truthfully you don't need weights or nothing.
Yeah,
There's a whole lot of workouts and exercises you can do with your body weight, and you know what I mean. Go on YouTube, you'll find tons. Or Chat GPT, it'll
yeah,
break it down to you. Then you can go look up videos because you probably want to know what half the names of the exercises is. But
yeah.
um, next on the list is effective communication. And this one and the last one are probably my two favorite on this list, right? Effective communication. Be very intentional with the words you choose when you communicate with people, right? I think that is very, very important. Words have definitions and they mean things. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it's important to be purposeful and clear when you're communicating, right? To eliminate any confusion or frustration or any of that, right? Like don't over exaggerate things. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like don't make situations bigger than they really are. Don't downplay situations. Don't like be honest.
Yeah.
Be very purposeful. I'm gonna keep repeating some of these same buzzwords when it comes to intentions, but be purposeful. You know what I mean? Like think about what you're gonna say before you say it.
Right.
Don't act on out of emotion, which kind of leads to this last one here. But um just be very effective. Well, being intentional with your communication leads to effective
Effective communication.
communication,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So
Because you
um
you're speaking with reason. Like
exactly. You're speaking
there's
with reason, with purpose, with intent. Listen intentfully. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, don't listen to respond. Listen
Yeah.
to understand.
Yeah.
Hear what the person is saying. Let them articulate their thoughts. You know what I mean? And then it's very important, right? Like, which I think I might have said this on another episode. I know I posted it, but and I'm paraphrasing again here. Memory ain't the greatest. Getting old out here, but
The boy turned
basically
35 and just
turn
memory
35, bro,
memory
feel
shot.
40. No, but check. So I seen something where a person said that being honest doesn't mean you have to be rude, right?
Yeah.
So like in the example that he gave was he was at his friend, good friend,
Oh,
had
right.
invited
That's
him to like a
Simon Sinek.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know his name, but he
That's what
said
it
like his
was.
friend invited him to I think it was like a play or a ballet or something like that, right? And she didn't do that good of a job. You know what I mean? And at the end of the play, she like walked up to him. They hey, thanks for coming and all that, and she asked him how you did. And what his point was, she's at a very high place right now, right? She invited him out, to
Hmm.
come watch her. I'm sure she prepared for this for however much time she prepared for it, and she's at a high place. So to give her negative constructive feedback right now, it's not the right
At the
time to
time,
do
at
that.
the time,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Because it's like, damn, you just came out here to hate.
Right.
So he didn't lie to her, which I think is very, very important point that he made. Like I didn't make up. Like I said, oh yeah, you did great. What he did is he pivoted, right? So she said, how was it? And his response was, I'm so happy that you invited me out here to come see you today. You know what I'm saying? Like I enjoyed
I
my time.
enjoyed
You know what I
getting to
mean?
see you. Yeah, I saw the
he
video
he
too.
he
Yeah.
he he was honest though, like because
Yeah.
he enjoyed coming out to see his friend and all that, but just her personal performance wasn't that great, right? So and then what he said is, down the road, when they were talking, just friendly conversation, he brought that up to her, like, hey, do you mind if I share my feedback from your performance from whatever a week ago? And then she was like, yeah, and then he said it to her, and she was much more responsive, to that versus if he would have did it, at the time.
At that
And
time, yeah.
that's what being like purposeful is, and like paying attention and knowing, being able to read the room and all of those types of things, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a time and a place for everything. And to me, that kind of hit home because you hear a lot of people say, and I'm sure I've even said it before, that I'm not rude, I'm honest, right? But being honest doesn't have to be rude though. You can be honest in a polite and respectful way,
Yeah.
right? It's just about really kind of getting over your own pride or whatever the case it is, and realizing like, okay, this person is having a moment, you know what I mean? Let me not trample that, let me
Yeah.
not step on that, right? But effective communication, man, being intentional with your communication that leads to effective communication and can create um um just better
Better dialogue and
experiences and
experience.
relationships and
Yeah.
dialogue, great word for that, with your peers, right? So, and then last on the list is emotional intelligence, which, like I say, effective communication and emotional intelligence is probably my favorite. Being intentional with your emotions, right?
Hmm.
That is a very hard thing to do. And I think everybody walking this earth, every human being walking this earth has issues with that at times, right? We definitely all let our emotions get the best of us sometimes. And it's not always a negative emotion. Sometimes we can let positive emotions get the best of us and we act out of impulse and do some dumb shit we shouldn't have did. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, so being mindful of that, right? And like in those moments where you're, overly stimulated and excited, or if you're not stimulated at all, angry, whatever, what I mean, the case may be, kind of taking a step back and being like, okay, let me kind of remove my emotions from this situation and look at the actual thing at hand, right? Like, okay, this person just said something and disrespected me. Okay, let me step back instead of lashing out. Okay, do I think it was purposeful? Like, do I think they meant that? The
Right.
way I
I,
took
I
whatever
took it.
information that was being delivered, right? Yes or no? Okay. If the answer is yes, that still does not mean just lash out. You know what I mean? Like now you got to think, okay, if I communicate to this person how that made me feel or whatever the situation is, right, can maybe we prevent this next time or move on from it. You know what I mean? Just really kind of thinking through the situation and acting out of logic as opposed to emotion, right? Like, and now again, that is very hard to do, especially, and I think it's maybe harder to do when you're frustrated as opposed to excited, because sometimes you can get real excited and you can kind of reel yourself back in a little bit like, okay, hold on, let me think about this. Whereas when you frustrated, it's, you know what I mean, you on fire, you hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's you first thing that it's a defense mechanism to just automatically lash back out, right? So um being effective with your or intentional with your emotions leads to better emotional intelligence, right? Which, and that's what emotional intelligence is knowing how to control your emotions with the decisions you make and
Right.
not letting your emotions dictate the
That's
decisions
what
you
you meant.
make, right?
Yeah.
Because you can become way less intelligent in those moments of frustration and make very, very bad
Bad
decisions.
decisions. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So very, very important to be intentional with your emotions. Um, so what's the impact, right? What's the impact of being intentional in like these areas, right? Setting our intentions help us achieve more results. When we're clear on our objectives and the effort required, we can maximize the outcome we strive to accomplish. So as simple as that. By setting our intentions, by being purposeful, by um, being focused, when setting the goals to accomplish, whatever it is, it leads to better results. Period. You know what I mean? It's really kind of as simple as that. So next on the list, action items. So 6 starts to be more intentional. I'm gonna let Said take the first 6 and or the first 3, and then I'm gonna take the last 3.
Absolutely. So, start one. So, start setting clear and specific goals. Write down your goals and be as specific as possible about what you want to achieve. Now, we've talked about that throughout this live and throughout this discussion. But write down the goals. Be as detailed as you can. Be as specific as you can. I'm not one to agree with the whole idea of don't set goals for yourself. Blah 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 blah. I don't think that's a
Well, some
very
some I hear religious folks say if you want to make God laugh, tell him your pants. Um, to me, like I don't agree with that saying.
I
You know
feel
what I mean?
it's just with goal again. Power of intentions. Goals are setting your intentions. This is something that I want to do. This is something that I want to achieve. Here is the process that I'm going to take to get to whatever it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and so that's a goal. That's something that you aspire to do, or whatever context or words you want to use in it. It's a goal. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
no,
so
exactly, and some people really truly have the belief of there's a word for it. I don't know what it is. I can't think of what it is right now. But like everything is just predetermined, right? Like everything that was gonna happen is already mapped out, and you really don't have much control over that, right? I don't think like that, right? I believe God gave us will, right, and gave us
absolutely.
the ability to make our own decisions and affect outcomes, right? That's what I personally believe, right? So the whole like go like, yes, you absolutely should set goals. You absolutely should be very intentional with what you're trying to accomplish. You absolutely should do that. Now, yes, depending on your religious preference and how you look at certain things, like, yeah, if God determines a different outcome or whatever the case may be, then so be it. But that
That's
does
just gonna
not
be what
mean
it
that you
is.
should
Like
not
the
still
the
have goals.
outcome, there is no guarantee. That's like when
Exactly.
somebody said they wanted to be successful. They want to be a millionaire. They want to be whatever it is. There's no guarantee. Nothing in life has guarantees. You know what I'm saying? You can only hope for, have faith, believe, and attempt to do whatever it is that you're wanting to do. But there's no guarantee at the end. There's no guarantee that Keep It Thorough is going to pop off and do what we wanted to do. But Eric and I are both are intentional with our actions, and we're diligent, and we're conscious of what we're doing and focused on it. But we like
Which increases our chance of
absolutely.
it
You know
being
what I'm saying?
successful
And
as
it's
opposed
all
to the opposite. Yeah.
absolutely. So it's and that goes with what? Writing it down, looking at it on paper, having it as a visual, seeing how everything kind of lines up, and then it's almost like a puzzle. You putting different pieces together, you figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what needs to change, what doesn't need to change, what do you need to continue to do, right, to move in the right direction, your resources, your information that you receive, and then you just go from there. So yeah, start setting your goals, be specific about them, write them down, put them in your phone, whatever the case may be, and look at them every day. Look at them as often as you can. Like feed yourself, with that encouragement, that empowerment that you need in order to achieve those things. Right
And start right now.
there, you go.
At
Right
least
now,
write down a goal.
like
You know,
right now, like if you're watching this, like do it right now. Like go get you a pen and paper and like do it right
straight
now.
up.
You know what I'm saying? But
Even
yeah,
if that
second,
goal is to write down some
yeah,
goals,
there
goddamn
you
it,
go.
write a
There it
goal.
is, right there. Next one, start prioritizing your time. Determine which activities are most important to you and prioritize them, right? And so I'm a little bit of a nut when it comes to time, right? If I was to show somebody how I outline my day, they would think I'm crazy, right? Because I'm the type of person, I literally account for every moment of my day, all 24 hours. Some of it is set in 20-minute blocks, some of it is in 40, some of it is in an hour, some an hour and a half. But you can ask me right now, Cedric, what are you doing at this time? And I can tell you what it is that I'm doing. Now, obviously, life happens,
Well,
right?
so but it's what you intend to
My
do,
intent,
right?
exactly. There you
Exactly. Yeah.
go. So that and for me, here we go with the power of intentions. It gives me power over my day, right? I feel like I'm in control. I have authority of my day and what I'm doing. Now, again, life happens. We know that already. Certain things happen that may be unexpected. We know that already. You know what I'm saying? But my intent is to do X, Y, and Z. And so by doing that, it's just like what you was talking about with Rob. I'm sure because he did that, he was able to get data. Okay, I know around this time I'm typically slacking off. Let me see what am I usually doing that
Exactly.
causes me to do X, Y, and Z. Okay. I know at this time I typically have some extended, you know, time in my day where I maybe can focus more on family things, whatever the case may be, right? And so when you're prioritizing your time, you're just looking at the things that you want to achieve, the goals that you have, you know what I'm saying, the people that you want to let into your space, and you're making time, you're prioritizing things. Certain things you can wait to take care of, certain things may be a little bit more urgent, whatever the case may be. But it's important to start prioritizing your time is an asset, you know what I'm saying, you want to get a return on it. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. And to like the point I made previously, right? It also helps to hold you accountable. So as said mentioned, he has 20-minute blocks, 40-minute blocks, hour-long blocks, whatever the case may be. If life happens and something happens and it takes off, you know a 2-hour block at that time, he still can pick up where he left off,
Absolutely.
and finish off with whatever else he had planned for the day. And his whole day is not just thrown off now because something happened and he can't remember what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's very important to do that because it also holds you accountable.
Absolutely, bro. And then the next one is start thinking about values. Values. Identify your core values and reflect on how they can guide your actions and decisions. And this is highly important when it comes to um, what you entertain throughout your day, right? And things that you allow in your space. When you understand what your values are about, and what you expect from other people, what you expect from yourself, what ends up happening is anything that tries to distract you or detour you from the direction that you're moving, you're not going to allow it, right? Because you're standing on something. Like, these are my values, these are my principles, these are my standards. If you want to be in my space, this is the expectation that I have of you, right? Like, because let's just be honest. Again, this goes into time. We don't have time to waste. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, there's a time for everything. There's a time to have fun. There's a time to be serious. There's a time to focus. There's a time to sleep, time to rest, all that. There's a time for everything. But with the times that you have to, dial in on something, with the times where you know that you're wanting to move towards something, like, you really have to be value focused, right? You have to maximize those moments. You have to make certain that whatever it is that you're doing within that time frame, that it's valuable, and whoever is around you, or even the things that are in your environment, are they valuable? Like, is it conducive to what it is that you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to
And
move
we
towards?
all have, a definition of peace, right? Or
Yeah,
tranquility, or a place that we're trying to get to. And unless you're already successful, you don't have that luxury to not be purposeful. You know what I mean? Like, the more intentional you are early on, and the more focused, the more goal driven, results driven you are early on, the quicker you can get to that level of peace and tranquility and relax, and where you can afford to be less purposeful. You know what I mean? Where you just kind of can do whatever you want to do at your time. But even still, I never recommend not being purposeful with your time. But
yeah, and I,
again,
and I think there's always, you even no, I feel like no matter how successful you get, and this is just go off of, just who a person is, truthfully. But many people, they could be as successful as they want to be, but a lot of people want to give. A lot of people want to put other people in positions
well,
for
and I want to
opportunity.
be
You know what I'm
careful too,
saying?
because success means different things to different
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
Right?
it
Yeah,
means something different for a lot of people. But you definitely want to make certain that the focus that you have is of value. You know what I'm saying? The focus that you have as you move towards goals and goal obtainment, right? Is that you're being intentional with the way that you go about your day to day. You know what I'm saying? You want to make certain that the people that you're associating with, you want to make certain that the things that you're entertaining are given equal or more value to you, right? Because you want people that's going to pour into you, right? Not take away from you. You want to put yourself in situations that's going to build you up and not break you down, right? And so you just have to be very conscious of those things, and that goes into the power of intentions, right? You know what I'm saying? When you become more conscious and more focused when you know that you're being intentional, right? When
yeah,
you know your intentions are in alignment with what your value system is, and what your principles and what your standards are, and you know that the direction that you're moving is going to lead to something favorable because you're being intentional. You know what I'm saying?
no, absolutely. So next on the list is start creating a routine, right? So establish a daily routine that supports your mission. And really, I feel like this routine kind of falls in line with prioritizing your time, which falls in line with, planning your day, right? Having like an agenda. I feel like all of those things align, right? So, and it may help you to create that calendar or that planner by starting with the routine,
Yeah,
right? So,
builds good
like,
habits.
what time do you want to go to sleep, right? Like, what's a good time for you to go to sleep to make sure that you're rested enough to get up in the morning and do whatever it is that you got to do, right? So let's start there, right? And then once you get up, what do you need to do, right? Are you the type of person that likes to get up and wake up in the morning. Maybe you're not. Maybe you want to be that person, though, right? So what do you need to do to become that person, right? And just map out that routine and write out that routine. You don't gotta be, like you don't gotta take it to the extreme that like Sid does, where you mapping out every minute, right? But at least okay, what do
Yeah,
I
you ain't gotta do
plan
that
to
today.
do today, right? Like
Yeah.
let write some things out, right? And don't just think short term. Think long term, right? Because then you can make actionable smaller steps, daily, weekly, monthly to get to those goals, to accomplish those things, right? So obviously think about, short term, what you want to do with that, what those days can look like, but they should be focused on a bigger goal, a longer term goal, right? Next on the list is start saying no. This is a great one, right? Learn to say no to activities or requests that are a distraction towards your objective. Um, when I first moved to Houston, it was one of the reasons it was the best thing for me is it removed all of my distractions as far as my homies and people, family and all that. I only had my mom, sisters, cousins down here. Didn't have no homeboys down here. Didn't know a lot of people down here. So I really kind of focused on me, right, and was able to get accomplished a lot of things that I was trying to get accomplished, like school and various other things. When you're around your friends. I don't personally believe in peer pressure, but a lot of people do. But you can be easily influenced, right? And you may know that, hey, I have this routine, I have this plan. I'm supposed to get up in the morning to go do this. But hey, my homeboys and them is going to hanging out tonight, and I really want to do that too, right? Now, it's not that you should never not have fun, right? Like let that be the exception though. Let that
Yeah.
let that time that you say yes be the exception. And the majority of the time you say no, right? Because you need to focus because it's a distraction towards your objectives, towards
Yeah.
what you're trying to accomplish, right? So very important to know how to say no, right? Don't over commit, right? To things over here that either one you can't do, right? Never agree to something that you can't do. Just don't do that. Say no. But maybe it's something that you can do, but you just don't have the time for it, right? Um, Say no, right? And if you're already working on a bigger project and just somebody you care about or love comes to you and out of love you want to do it, so you tell them yes, don't do that either. Be honest with them. It's better for both of y'all, and let them know like, hey man, I really would love to help you, but I have XYZ going on that I
Yeah.
really need to knock out, right? And now if you still need help after that, I'm more than happy to help, but I really need to get this done. Very important to do those things, right? To focus on you, right? You can't take care of nobody else if you ain't taking care of you. And one of my mottos is I will help you as long as it's not hurting me, right? As
Mhm.
soon as this starts hurting me, then I'm not helping nobody. You know what I'm saying? Um, so learn to say no.
Yeah.
Start reflecting in that's a quotable too. We putting that on.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That was a good one. That was a good one, man.
but
Timestamp that thing. Bow.
So check. So and the last one is start reflecting and adjusting, right? So regularly reflect on your progress and adjust your actions and goals as needed. And this is, one of them like, just self-reflections, right? Like just think about it as like you reviewing yourself. At your job, you go through, depending on where you work, some just do it yearly, some do it quarterly, some do it, biannually, whatever the case may be. They look at your performance, right? And kind of let you know how you're doing. They grade you on your performance, right? Grade yourself on your performance, man. What am I working towards? What have I tried to accomplish, right? Have I been able, am I making progress towards those goals? Where have I fell short? If I didn't accomplish them, what stopped me, right? What have I learned, right? What goals should I adjust? What new
Yeah.
goals should I add? Because hopefully you checked off a few and that list is getting shorter, right? So very, very important to reflect and make adjustments, right?
Yeah.
That's how you and then pivot, right? So that's where you begin to pivot and find better ways of doing things based off of your experiences and knowledge that you're acquiring as you're going through this growth process, right? But again, very 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 important to self reflect and make adjustments. That's how
Yeah.
you continue to grow and be very, 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 very intentional with that. Put it on your calendar. That should be on your calendar. Like, okay, my self, I don't even know, my personal review of self, I'm gonna do in January and June and
every quarter,
You
and
know
then
what I mean? Or every
we're
quarter,
gonna
you know what I
start
mean?
doing it.
Whatever the
Yeah,
case, put it on your calendar, right? And check and do whatever is comfortable for you, right? Don't do it because it's easy. Do what's better for you, right?
right,
So don't say, oh, I don't want to do it quarterly. That's too often. I don't want to have, you know what I mean? No, if that's what's better for you, then do that. If you're slacking on goals and you're not one really accomplishing them, if you one that are kind of self motivated and you get stuff done, maybe you only need to check in with yourself twice a month, or 2 times a year, because you know you're making progress, right? So yeah. You want to hit us with the
right.
final thought, said?
Yes, sir. So when we set our intentions, we have an opportunity to achieve more results by being clear on our objectives and the effort it will take. We can maximize the outcomes that we daily strive to accomplish. There is value in recognizing the power of intentions, as it has the ability to make the unattainable become attainable and the impossible become possible. Right. And so, as we've kind of discussed um, throughout this uh, conversation, you know, whenever you have intentions with an idea, and then you put forth the action, when you become purposeful in what you're doing, and then when you also take the time to really identify what steps that you need to take, that's going to build up your confidence. It just goes into like when Eric always talks about risk. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not as risky when you're well informed,
Exactly.
right? If you know that you need some extra help in a certain area, or you lack information in a certain area, but you do the necessary things in order to gather the knowledge and the understanding that you need, your confidence when you look towards doing something is going to be a little bit better, right? Your idea of what could potentially happen is going to be a little bit different, because it's like, okay, I've done everything that I needed to do to understand this. The outcome is going to be the outcome. I can't control that, but I'm gonna do everything that's necessary to put myself in the best possible position to get to the outcome that I want. And I'm just one to believe that it's like when Eric talk about the law of averages, right? I'm one to believe that if I'm doing positive things towards something consistently and continuously, something positive is going to come out of it, right?
Absolutely.
It may not look like what I want it to look like. I would hope so, but something positive it has got to come out of it.
Hey,
And
if
see
I
that,
if I win, I win. If I don't, I learn. You
right?
know what
You
I'm
know what I'm
saying?
saying? And,
Which
and
is
there's
still a win.
it's still a
So
win. You know what I'm saying? You have a better understanding, you know, and even with those moments where it may move into a different direction that was unexpected, it's still beneficial for you because now you have strategies, now you have tools, now you have experiences that you can base your next moves on, right? You can always reflect and be like, okay, I did this didn't work for me, right? But I was intentional with that time, so I was able to observe it a little bit differently. But now that I'm moving in this direction, I know not to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to do it this way this time, right? And it's just a matter of, like you was just saying, like reflecting, adjusting, really just doing all the 6 things that we just kind of went over, right? Like
yeah,
doing all those
absolutely.
things just to really get yourself in a position to feel confident with moving forward towards whatever it is that you want to achieve, and whatever aspirations that you have, right? And so that's the power of intentions, right? When you have those intentions, and you're really wanting to move towards something, you can get there when you map it out, and you just be intentional, you know what I mean?
Hey, be intentional, man. If you didn't get anything from this episode, be intentional.
Be
Be
intentional.
purposeful, be motivated, be driven, be detailed, um, be intentional.
Be intentional. That's it, bro.
So hey, everybody who watched this episode live, greatly appreciate y'all. Everybody who comes back, watches the episode, we appreciate y'all. Both of these episodes will be available tomorrow on all of the podcast platforms and all of that. I say both of these episodes, meaning the one from Tuesday as well as this one here, if you didn't catch it live. Also, be sure to check out the website. Uh, Share with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Like,
Uh,
share,
like,
like,
share,
share, and
subscribe,
subscribe. Yeah, that's it. You know,
comment. You know what I mean? We're open to feedback, um, as well as episode
suggestions.
suggestions,
You know
you
what
know
I'm
what I
saying? If
mean?
that's something you
Anything
want
y'all
us to
want us
talk about.
to discuss, dive deep on, we will definitely do our due diligence on the research if it's something we're not knowledgeable on. But again, we greatly appreciate y'all, man. It's been a journey. We 68
68
episodes in, which is
episodes in,
wild.
man.
Um, feel real good though, man. I think I think we've built a really good platform thus far, and we're building a great platform. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely,
so
man.
definitely stay in tune.
A lot of good
And
things to look forward to. This
no, absolutely. And we're
second
being
half of the
very
year is gonna be
intentional,
being very intentional.
very intentional,
I
right?
like I
So,
like I like our odds. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. So yeah, with all that said, man, if you don't do nothing else,
Yeah, yeah.
keep it
Keep it
thorough.
thorough.
We'll holler at y'all next time.
Deuces.
Deuces.